Chapter 268 of Jujutsu Kaisen just dropped, and man, what another masterpiece of a chapter by Gege Akutami himself. On the real though, let's talk about the chapter because again, it is very divisive within the community and I do want to give my own thoughts and ask you guys about yours. Let's get right into it. The topic today is Goodbye King 07. It was nice knowing you. And as always, let's start with a 268 recap. And the chapter begins with Suki immediately starting to weasel Megumi, begging for his life, saying, Megumi, everything that I did to you, doesn't it make you want to stay living within me, the king of curses? But don't worry, Megumi fans, Megumi Aura moment. He says, why do you sound so desperate? Psych. It's too late for that, Megumi. You have actively not contributed in the fight at all. You don't get aura now. You sound more like, Sukuna King, why do you sound so desperate? Notice the dichotomy between the voices there? I'm putting my voice acting skills on full display. What can't this man do? But seriously, Megumi does have a mentality change. After everything that's happened, he finally decides to lock in and says, you know what? I'm gonna try living for others again. So while Megumi is telling Sukuna to kindly fuck off and never come back, Yuji's domain breaks as Megumi is punched out of it and we see Sukuna clinging onto Megumi's life before being disintegrated slowly but surely, much like a curse does. And as Sukuna is disintegrating, we see him in his final, ultimate form, the piece of poop with an eye. And we see this piece of poop with an eye being quite scared as Yuji's menacing shadow towers over him. For some reason though, Yuji again tries to talk no jutsu Sukuna. At this point, Sukuna can't do anything. If anything, I'm sure that Yuji is just rubbing it in his face at this point because there should be no mentality change. Yuji, I feel like, should be even fucking more vehemently mad at Sukuna. That's what a lot of fans were expecting. That's what I was expecting. But hey, it's a shonen. But we do get a great moment right after this as Sukuna laments Yuji one more time. He says, fuck your mentality, fuck everything you stand for, but I'll put some respect on your name. I'll call you by your full name, Itadori Yuji. And that's that, the end of the King of Curses. And we're going to talk about the implications of that in a sec, but then we realize that the entire Hikari Uraume fight was completely off screen, and after she realizes it, she kills herself. Good job, Uraume, I'm right there with you. And alongside seeing the end of Hikari Uraume, that's basically the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, because the next thing we see in the chapter is the main trio getting back together and just doing goofy shit while also reading letters from Gojo. Look at Megumi smiling, look at Megumi being scarred. I don't really know why he's scarred, because in one of the panels he didn't look scarred at all, but okay, whatever. I hope that's explained. And while they're reading the letters, Nobara asks Megumi if he's special grade, and you know what, Nobara, I'm right there with you, because if I realized if I was Megumi, and I have this duplicitous rapid escape that is actually the Divine General plus Tiger Funeral, I might also think that is special grade worthy. And so they talk some more until Yuji says, hey, we gotta go save Yuta. We haven't dealt with him. He's been taking a nap this entire time. He just woke up like Nobara one chapter ago, and we hear someone calling Yuta a bitch. More on that in a sec. And as I'm sure you guys know, that's where the chapter ends, so let's talk about each of the characters and the implications. Starting with none other than the King of Curses himself, Ryomen Sukuna, likely for the last time. Let's just slow clap one last time for Sukuna. He stood on business until the very fucking end. I mean, the dude ran a gauntlet, he stuck to his guns, and he did not have an end like Makito, he did not have an end like Kenjaku, where the mentalities changed a little bit. Sukuna stayed dying like a curse, very fittingly, I might say. But the thing I really want to talk about in this video is the notion that people are saying, this chapter felt rushed. I agree. I completely agree, and I think it's because Sukuna died at the start of the chapter, and then there was no transition between ending the boss fight and then doing just random slice of life shit. And the fact that Megumi and Nobara coming back at the same time in the same chapter and very suddenly really took the wind out of the sails in a lot of ways. I do want to say though, that even though it felt rushed in the manga, and yes, I read the chapters back to back to back, I think it'll be better in the anime. I think they'll add music, I think they'll kind of extend some scenes, and the end of Sukuna will be the end of one episode instead of going to this slice of life shit. And I want to also address the comments I've been seeing online that people are saying, Sukuna just ran a gauntlet for 40 chapters, how can this feel rushed? That's not the point. The point is that Sukuna's death didn't feel as climactic as a lot of people thought it would, and the implications of the Sukuna fight at the end were never shown by the characters. Like, what did they think about this whole gauntlet? What happened after Sukuna died? It's just a cut. There wasn't even a breath of relief. Yuji didn't collapse on the floor. Nobody cheered. It was just like, okay, boom. And we forgot about Sukuna all of a sudden. That being said though, after everything, I'm gonna miss our fraudulent king. I really liked him as a villain, and it was fun to see him struggle. It was fun to see him cope. Rest in peace, King of Frauds. Then we get to Hikari and Urome, and let me just say, they definitely smashed. Why are they both half naked during this fight? And right after that, Urome kills herself, after seeing the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen being so fucking rushed. Again, I will also say that the line about luck was pretty cool, I guess, I mean, whatever. But Hikari and Urome fans are still not eating good. Like, Gege cooked up really dog water for them. What did Urome even do as a character other than be a punching bag for Gojo and not even die to him? So all I can say about this is, Hikari to the Shanghai Sharks, you are washed. Then of course the main trio of Jujutsu Kaisen, starting with Nobara. She was written out of the story, and then she gets a note from Gojo. Obviously she doesn't care about this note from Gojo. Gojo could have said anything fucking else. Why did he even write her a note? This note was so completely irrelevant, and even to the readers, this doesn't establish anything more about her character. It's just there. But her dynamic with Yuji is always great, as we see in this chapter, and I'm still a fan of her character, even though I'm not a huge fan of how she was brought back into the narrative. Then the man himself, Yuji Itadori, the stocks paid off. First of all, "You're me versus I'm you" is a great callback. Back in Shibuya when he told Mahito, "I'm you," that means that I am a cog, I'm willing to kill, I'm basically a curse like you, Mahito. And at this point, Yuji's mentality has already shifted. He is no longer a cog, he realizes that he's a human and should be living like a human, and he tells Sukuna, no matter how much you try to be a curse, you're also human. And you lost. To me. And then as I said earlier, obviously there was another Talk no Jutsu again. Obviously Sukuna should never have accepted the Talk no Jutsu, and he didn't, and I'm glad. But the fact that Yuji did so just again feels very shonen to me. Okay, whatever. But it goes without saying that I'm very, very happy that Yuji actually does get a good end. That the power of friendship actually prevailed at the end after all, when two characters woke up at the exact same time and helped Yuji defeat Sukuna. And unfortunately, Yuji does not get a note from Gojo like the other two students, but I'm hoping that maybe in the next chapter we have either a flashback or the person calling Yuta a bitch was actually Gojo. And a lot of people say Gojo doesn't talk like that, and it might not be Gojo, it might be Maki, it might even be Rika, but until then, let's just see. I have no idea. I hope it's Goj. And last but not least, Megumi, fuck you. But welcome back, buddy, finally. His mentality changed very quickly. I'm very surprised in how this was handled, but hey, at least he's back. You know, I always liked him as a character, more on that in a sec. Shoko still didn't do anything. Gojo said, I'll let Shoko deal with that. And what Gojo meant at that time is, I'm gonna give Megumi a note that I wrote, and Shoko will just hand it to him. So basically, all Shoko has done throughout the entire series is do something a normal doctor can do, and hold on to a note. W. And in regards to Megumi, when he reads this note, he smiles when he's told that Gojo kills his dad. This is the effects of the infinite void on the soul and on the brain. Nobody's even like, what the fuck, this isn't grim. Megumi's like, ha, this truly was our Jujutsu Kaisen. But even though I like Megumi as a character so much, now that he woke up and there's like 3 chapters left, there's just little to no character development overall. We're never gonna see Megumi blossom into the incredible sorcerer that he could have been, incredible person that he could have been. But okay, we don't have much time, I guess. So in conclusion, what can we say about chapter 268? A very divisive chapter. Honestly, I'm okay with the chapter, but it was pretty mid. And I don't mean bad mid, I really mean mid. I thought that the end of Sukuna was great. I thought that it was really fitting. I just wish that we could have seen more, and we could have seen more character interactions, which we haven't been seeing throughout the entire series, and it's a little disappointing. And in my opinion, it still feels like the chapter was rushed, even if you read the previous chapters back to back to back, but whatever, we've got 3 chapters left to go. But after this chapter, it feels like next chapter could honestly be the last one. Which begs the question, what do we do for the last 2 chapters? But I have an idea for Gege. Since I am a genius who went to Stanford University, I believe that Gege should just black page the next 2 chapters for that sweet AdSense revenue. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Guys, we're really close to the end of Jujutsu Kaisen. Tell me what you thought about this chapter. Tell me what you thought about Sukuna's ending and all the character developments, what happened, what you think is going to happen next. Did you enjoy the chapter? Did you think it was mid? Did you think it was ass? I'd like to know everything in the comments below. Certainly an interesting end for Jujutsu Kaisen, coming at a breakneck speed, but also if you have any other suggestions for future videos, for future games, real life series to cover, please let me know those in the comments down below as well. I love you. You're looking so extra good today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.